We don't make this stuff up here. You're watching the best in-depth researched analysis on schools rugby 2018. You're on ThePapare.com. Welcome to the breakdown. Let's take a look at the games that we witnessed over the last week. It's been an extended week, first week of this 2018 schools rugby season, because we had some postponements in the middle, but we've had some midweek games, weekend games and all of that. But let's look at what happened after the first round was almost concluded. First, we had Royal taking on Kingswood in the first match for the defending champions, and 29 points to 3 was how that game finished. It was 7-3 at half-time, but the superior fitness and conditioning of this Royal team coming to the fore. Kingswood will really need to do a little bit more if they are to stay in touch with teams for that entire 70 minutes. So Royal coming out winners competently. They didn't show too much of their hand. They are holding things back, played well within themselves, emptied their bench as well, and that was something that coach Deshant Luque will be looking to do as the games go on, to make sure he uses his entire squad strength, because it could be a long season. So a good start for the defending champs, 29 points to 3. Isipatana and DS locked horns in the first thriller for this season, and I'm sure we can expect a lot more thrillers in this upcoming few weeks that we have of schools rugby. 25 points to 24. DS had a chance to win that game 26-25, but unfortunately for them, they couldn't make the biggest upset in their rugby history, and the conversion that would have won them the game was missed by their number 8 in the final moment of the game, and that was really unfortunate for DS, who had stayed in touch with last year's runners-up. And Isipatana were really outstanding, I thought, to manage to hold on till the end. They conceded that try, but they didn't look down. They charged the conversion and managed to make sure that it was missed as well. So they managed to win 25 points to 24, a 1-point win. So Isipatana were not the formidable side that they were last season. Probably will need to do a bit of work on the training ground to make sure they are a threat in this B division or the B segment of this Division 1A tournament. Then we had Peters, who scored the highest points of the weekend so far, 48 points to 12. They completely demolished Zaira. 34 points they scored in the first half. Zaira coming through and scoring a couple of late tries to add to their total. But it looked a very competent, dominant performance from a St. Peter's side that not many were expecting much from at the start of the season. But experienced coach Sanath Martis has returned to Bambalapiti, and he looks like he has done the business as he is used to doing. 48 points to 12, the highest points of the season, and putting their stall out and showing Royal that it won't be a one-horse race for sure. Then we had Trinity taking on St. Anthony's. It was a very interesting game up in Kandy, because St. Anthony's were leading at 11 points to 5 at halftime, and they hung on to that lead for quite a while as well. And Trinity was scared going into the last few moments of the game, but they managed to pull it off, 15 points to 11. Otherwise, it would have been a disastrous start to their season. But St. Anthony showing their hand and showing that they're not the team that they were last season, even with the big names that they had in their side. They are more cohesive team unit this time, and will be something to be watched out for as the season rolls on. Then we had St. Joseph's, also one of the 3 teams to put their hands up and say that we are title contenders, genuine title contenders. Some outstanding individual brilliance from the Joe's midfield and their back 3 as well, and some superb defense from Tharindra Dialvis and his third row colleagues up front meant that they took the Lady Jayatilaka Shield against St. Thomas's home once again with a 33 points to 10 victory, 21 points to 5 at halftime, and it was closer than it says on the scoreboard, but St. Joseph's possessing those game breakers that can really destroy any team that they come up against on the day. So 33 points to 10, those were the results that we saw in the first week. Let's have a look now at what we've got in store for you in this 2018 Singer Schools Rugby League. We have a first trophy game on offer between DS and Zaira for the RIT Alas Cup. That's going to be a really interesting game. 2 wily coaches coming together, Motila Aljatilaka versus Shamli Nawaz. It's going to be a very interesting one, because both teams are coming in after a defeat, and they know how damaging to confidence 2 successive defeats can be. So they'll be exceptionally wanting to make sure that this one doesn't end in defeat for either one of them. So with the trophy on offer, I think DS with their strong forward pack will be probably the favourites going into this match, because they like to play it close. They like to draw Zaira in to a game that they're not comfortable playing. Zaira is a team that like to move the ball around a little bit. Their forwards are mobile. They like to pass the ball wide quickly, but unfortunately for them it looks like DS might just suck them into playing that close forwards game that we have seen from them in that first match against Isipatana that worked so well for them against Isipatana as well. DS might not be able to last the 70 minutes though, so look for the kick and chase from Shamli Nawaz. He might turn those forwards around, look towards putting it in behind them and just having his speedsters run that ball down and see whether the territorial game can make a difference for the Zahira College team, who will definitely have to improve from the match against St. Peter's. Their defense looked non-existent in the first few minutes, and after that they never were able to get themselves back into that game. So we'll have to wait and see how the coaches react to those two defeats, two very different defeats. Zahira got absolutely hammered while DS lost by a wafer-thin margin, and sometimes it's more difficult to lose the close games from a psychological point of view than it is to lose the games that you never had a chance in at all. So that's something that will play on both teams' minds, and let's see how that game comes to fruition on the 16th of March. It's going to be a very, very interesting game on Friday. Then we go up to Pallakale, where we have Trinity hosting St. Joseph's, and St. Joseph's will be going up there hoping to win for the first time ever in their history in the Pallakale ground. And it's looking like a very strong possibility given the way the Joes performed against St. Thomas's and given the way that Trinity performed against St. Anthony's. It looks very much like Joes will be the firm favourites going into that game. They are probably one of the title favourites as well, the way they have been performing so far. So that's something that will be very interesting for Trinity, especially given the fact that they're at home. They won't want to give an inch. But the fact is that Joes have some game breakers in their line. They've got Samisha Viranga in midfield, and they've got Gamunu Chetia, who is absolutely outstanding. Kavinda also on the wing, to add to a boy who played in Kandy and now plays at Maradana, Dulanjana Piyathissa, who is the fullback, and his attacking skills are really outstanding. So the back three for me and the back row unit of Harendra, Vihanga and Tharindu for St. Joseph's were absolutely outstanding against St. Joseph's, and they can do the defensive work plus the attacking work, and they look like they're super fit as well. So I think that match will be a mountain too high for Trinity to climb the way that St. Joseph's are playing. And if St. Joseph's can keep their discipline and they don't stray offside on that defensive line, then I think they will really cause problems for guys like Warren Veerakone, who will be trying to run the ball, but he will meet with a big wall of defense in the form of Tarinduri Alvis and the rest of his third row buddies. So that's going to be a very, very interesting game. Both midfields will test each other out, but I think Gamunu Chetia might just have a little bit too much in a one-on-one challenge for his counterparts in the Trinity Lion jerseys. So watch for St. Joseph's to win that one. It's a big call, I know, but Trinity might just have found themselves wanting in the first half of this season. Next match we have on the cards is Royal versus St. Anthony's, and that's going to be an interesting game as well. Why? Because Royal are travelling away from their fortress. Royal play really well at their Royal College Sports Complex, and I don't think any team in this segment can come through and be guaranteed of beating them at Royal College. But what happens when they go away is a little bit different. Sometimes travelling to Kandy, playing against an opponent that's unfamiliar, is a little bit daunting for most teams, and St. Anthony's have shown their hand against Trinity. They've shown that they can lead Trinity and lead them and play well for long periods of time, despite missing the likes of Dinu Kamarasinghe, despite missing the likes of Samuel Madhuvantha. They've shown that they're a cohesive team unit this time, and that might make all the difference for the Antonian Eagles. So wait for this match to be a lot tougher than some of the Royal fans might expect it to be. This game might not be an upset for sure, but Royal with their forwards and the ability to stick with their forwards, and despite the game-breaking abilities of Janitha Dilshan, I think they will have to move to a more forward-oriented game against St. Anthony's. But watch for Dilshan to really exploit the tiredness that his forwards will cause in the Antonians, and then exploit that late on in the game. So Royal should win that one, but it certainly won't be a comfortable win for them, because this Antonian side has shown that they have got some goods this season as well. So that's our preview for the upcoming games. We have a few other matches coming up as well. We have Isipatana taking on Dharmaraja at the Royal College Sports Complex on the 17th, and on the 18th we have St. Peter's taking on Wesley, who come out for the first time this season. Their match against Dharmaraja got delayed and has been postponed to much later in the season, so they'll be starting off against St. Peter's, and that's going to be a tough task for them. They would have preferred to have got the Dharmaraja match out of the way and under their belt before they face the likes of St. Peter's. So let's wait and see how that one turns out, because Wesley are looking like a good side. They've prepared well, they've trained hard this season, and St. Peter's will come up against much more opposition than they did against Zaira, so that's going to be an interesting one as well. Don't forget, we've got an all-new feature for you, the ThePapare Stats Center. So don't forget to log on in there and look at all the stats that you would like to look on in this newest offering from us here at ThePapare.com for the school's rugby season 2018. Stats.thepapare.com, the ThePapare Stats Center. The points table as it stands after the end of the first week: Division 1A, St. Joseph's leading comfortably, 6 points they have. Royal College also have their 6 points, picking up the bonus in both games. Trinity College have 5 points, and then we have St. Anthony's picking up 1 losing bonus point with 1 point. And in Division 2A, we have St. Peter's and Isipatana both on 6 points. Isipatana with a 1-point win, St. Joseph's with a 30-odd point win, and DS finishing in second place on the day, but picking up 2 bonus points nevertheless for 4 tries and finishing within 7 points of the opposition against Isipatana. So that's how the points table stands. You can check that out all season at the ThePapare Stats Center. As you know, we love to be democratic here at ThePapare.com, and we'd love your views. We'd like to hear what you think about the rolling substitutes. It's a new rule which means that players can come and go up to 12 times on any match days. So tell us what you think about that new rule added by the Sri Lanka Schools Rugby Football Association. Do you think the rolling substitutes are a good thing or not? We'd love to hear your views and air them on ThePapare.com. Don't forget, you can tweet us on the ThePapare Sports Twitter handle. You can tweet me as well on Shanaka Score. You can see the Twitter addresses down there, and let us know what you have to say about the rolling substitutes. That brings us to an end of the breakdown, the first breakdown segment for this 2018 season. Hope to see you much more in the upcoming weeks.